guys, and welcome back to my channel. And it's really rubbish and rainy here today in England, so I thought I would film a video that I've been meaning to film for a long while, and this is the 7 deadly sins of a model horse collector. Now this is a tag that's been around in the model horse community at least 7 or 8 years as far as I can tell, so it is quite old and possibly a bit tired, but I think it's a really nice way to get to know someone's collections, likes, dislikes. So I thought I'd go ahead and film it for myself. I hope you enjoy, and if you haven't done the tag yet, then feel free to go ahead and do it. I tag everyone else who wants to do it. So without any further ado, let's get to it. So the first sin is greed, which is what is your most expensive and least expensive model horse in your collection. I'm starting out with my most expensive, which would be Dead Heat, the Palomino Appaloosa special run from Briarfest 2018, who was a run of 900 of the Palomino and 900 of the Chestnut version. I paid £95 for him, so he was fairly expensive in terms of what I usually spend on models. Most of my models are fairly regular runs or the special runs that aren't quite as expensive. However, he's likely to not stay the most expensive for too long, as I have joined the Premier Club for next year and those horses will definitely be more expensive than him. But at the moment he's the most expensive in my collection. I love his pattern and his shading, and he adorns my shelf in my bedroom beautifully. As for my least expensive model, this would be the Lusitano on the Esprit mould. He was £18 from eBay, and I'm not counting any models that I was given or got for free in this tag, so he would be the cheapest. He came in a jiffy bag as postage, so he was definitely not from a well-known collector or anything like that, but he's still a lovely model to have. He does have a few rubs and bumps and things, so he's not perfect condition, but for £18 I don't think he's too bad. So the next deadly sin is Raph, which is what model do you have a love-hate relationship with? So for me it would be this guy who is Justin Morgan on the Sherman mould. He was a release with kind of a book set, and I love him because he's part of my original childhood herd who's migrated through to adulthood with me and was given to me by my parents. I also do really like his colour, like he is a lovely bay, and I do very nice bays I find, but he is one of the nicest ones I've seen. The downside with him is his mould, and I feel like this really lets him down. I find his back is really short, which means that I can't put him in saddles and tack because anything I put on him really comes up quite long and looks silly. He's also just not got a very tack friendly head, and I just find his proportions a little bit odd. Plus not a massive fan of his tail, and his mane is really annoying for dusting. So I do like him, but I also have days where I don't know, I just don't feel like he fits in with my taste anymore. But certainly, you know, because he's one of my original herd, I don't think he'll be going anywhere. Third sin on the list is gluttony, which is what is your favourite model horse in your collection? I had to think long and hard about this, but there was only one ultimate winner, which would be Benelli, and so he was a store special from this year's Briarfest virtual online 2020 Briarfest, where we all had to sit refreshing for hours and hours, but I did manage to get him, and I think he is so worth it. He's definitely risen to kind of pride of place in my collection just because I adore his pattern. I think this kind of blue roan Sabino Clydesdale is beautiful, and I'm a massive heavy horse fan in general, and the Shenandoah mould is probably my favourite mould as well. So he has become definitely my favourite in the collection. That may all change, you know, we never know with who is coming in and out of herd, but certainly Benelli has to be up there. I love everything about him. They did such a super job on his bobbins, are such a nice purple, his coat's beautiful, his face and his pinking and pinking underneath. I just love this horse, so he is my favourite at the moment within the herd. Our fourth deadly sin is sloth, which is actually a question just in general about model horses, and this is what do you hate most about model horses? For me, I don't hate many things. Certainly model horses have got me through quite a difficult time with lockdown this year and all the things going on in the world, but the one thing that does really annoy me is how much space they take up. I love my traditionals and they are the scale that I collect mainly, but the downside of that is once you start collecting them quite seriously, they run out of space quite quickly because they are quite large, and particularly because I like the draft breeds as well, and they tend to be sort of the wider and longer breeds. In the Briar collections, I do run out of space quite quickly, so the fact that they take up so much space is really frustrating. I know people are like, well, you could collect stablemates or minis and things like that instead, but I just love my traditionals too much, so it would be space that traditionals take up is kind of my number one hate about model horses. Number two is when you get a tippy model and it tries to like obliterate your entire collection. That would also be another thing that really annoys me. So that any tippy models have to go kind of lumped up against a wall to prevent them doing that. The fifth deadly sin on our list is pride, and I found this question really difficult to answer as I don't customise my own models, so that I don't produce my own artwork really. I do make tack, and so I did think about a model where I've been quite proud of what I've done with that model. So this would be Ballino Castle, who was the celebration model this year. I'm mainly proud of him not because of owning him, but because I've been inspired by this model to make quite a few different bits. I've made a full tack set for him. I've also made a whole diorama, which will be a future video of cross country for him. And he is also modelling a halter that is a little festive halter that I'm going to be doing a giveaway for. So I'm proud of him because he inspired me to do quite a few different bits of making and improve my skills within the hobby and push me outside my comfort zone a little bit in terms of creativity. But as I say, I will be making a video of how I made the diorama that is very, very nearly finished for him as a cross-country diorama, and he will be in full tack, so you'll be able to see the whole thing. But I'm really proud of what this model has inspired me to do. Sixth sin on the list is what do you look for in a model? So I took a good look at my collection and I pretty quickly picked up on some trends. I definitely love anything that's in a cantering or kind of action pose that's quite dynamic and also tack friendly. As one of my favourite things is making tack and being able to take sort of in action photos, I guess. So models like Catch Me are really quite nice. I also love models in quite unique poses. So this is Vallegro, who's in a canter pirouette. And again, he's quite fun to take photos of from lots of different angles. I also have a thing for really fun models. So this is Cheesecake, who I just love the hair and the dynamic pose. I'm definitely a fan of movement with my model horses. So if they've got movement in them, I really, really enjoy that. But I do also have quite a few standing models just because I like a bit of variety. I like to have some standing models so I can do barn kind of photos, I guess. I don't really show, so I don't particularly look for models that will show well, but I do adore models with movement. So definitely movement and dynamic and interesting poses is what I look for. Our seventh and final deadly sin is envy, which is what is your current grail? And for me, my current grail would be the original Shenandoah, ideally the loose mane version, just because I'm, as I say, a massive sucker for draft breeds, and my favourite horse in real life is a Shire horse called April. So I would love to be able to get a beige Shire horse and with the detailing that the Premier Club models have. So I'm very excited to hopefully one day own a Shenandoah. I don't see them come up for sale very often here in the UK at all. So one day I might have to bite the bullet and have a little look to getting one imported potentially. But it would be one of my dreams to add a proper Shenandoah to my collection. And as I say, it's my favourite mould and I think it would just make me so happy. So one day I hope to be able to get hold of Shenandoah. In the meantime, he will remain my continuous grail. So one day maybe we'll find one. The other would be Alborozo. I love him, even though it's like kind of pretty cliche for him to be a grail, and he is super expensive, so I don't think I'll ever own him, but he would be amazing if I could ever get hold of one for a decent price. So that concludes our 7 deadly sins of a model horse collector with me, Appleby Briars. I hope you've enjoyed watching and have gotten a little insight into my likes and dislikes within the model horse hobby. I'd be really interested to see any other videos on the 7 deadly sins of model horse collector, so if you have already done the tag or you're going to do the tag, let me know, and I'd love to watch your videos. I do find this a really interesting video to watch from different collectors around the world. Full credit goes to whoever started the 7 deadly sins of model horse collector tag. I did try to find out who that was, but I found it quite difficult. I don't know if it's just because it's been out so long now, but whoever made up the tag, thank you for the brilliant questions. I think they're really interesting and have been put in a really interesting format too. Just before I go, I wanted to finally mention a giveaway that I'm doing on Instagram at the moment. So as I said when I was showing you Ballymena Castle, I have made a lovely little festive halter that's going to be given away for free to UK residents who enter on my Instagram page. This giveaway is being drawn on Thursday, so you will have to be quite quick to enter, but I would just love to spread a bit of joy and to give out this halter. Unfortunately, it is UK residents only just because of the current world climate, but I hope if you are in the UK, you'll give it a go and just see my Instagram for more details. Thank you for watching and take care wherever you are in the world. I hope you're doing okay. We'll get through and hopefully life will be normal someday. But until then, we still got our model horses. Take care. Bye bye.